It's 11:11 a.m. It's funny. Now it's 11:12 a.m. It's Saturday, April 13th, 2019. This life. This last life of mine, one thing I've seen that was continuous was not getting out of here till I'm 63. I'm 63 now, and I wouldn't be 64 until near the end of July. It's long past time for me to be gone. I'm not like anything else, no better than nothing. None of us are any better than anyone else until you can understand that. You can't find your personal freedom. You need to become yourself before you can really be yourself. Make decisions worthy of who you really are. It's like Deanna likes to say, be yourself. Everyone else is taken anyway. And what I've always said is, what the hell are you doing listening to other people doing things that don't feel good with you? If someone tells you something and you relate with it, good, use it. Isn't that what all of us should do? Learn. But if you're doing something that other people tell you to do and you don't feel right about it, well, number one, you shouldn't do it. And if you don't find that correct, then I would be amazed. A lot of people don't want you to think that because they want to run you. They want to control you. Most of those people, you'll realize, and sometimes if they're lucky they finally realize, is that because they can't control their own lives, they have a bad desire a sickening need to try to control someone else's, and therefore find a cheap thought process to making themselves believe they're in control. You don't control your lives when you're in a body. You've never been able to. You were run by the original first being, male and female. Most of the female. Male is busy doing other stuff. Equally depressing. The two of them together, though, they created this creation. One of abuse. How can you say that there's a loving God? How can you say there's a God that has the power to make things whatever he wants? Why is it he only? And how could an all-powerful, all-loving, all-forgiving being then create hell to torture stuff and just abuse it horrifically throughout eternity? I mean, come on. You used to have the original first beings. The original first beings created angels almost right off. You want to understand how creation started? Get the creation series, book 1. Hell, you want to understand what's going on, who you are and everything, what's going on with ETs, the future of your origin, the most important part. You can manipulate where you're going to an extent, but you can't change the past. And where'd you come from? What came first, the chicken and the egg? It's so damn easy. Once you understand how simple it is, the rest of your life starts falling into its own unique pattern. It's like literally blowing a fog away. Being in a room full of smoke, you open the door, you walk outside, some of the smoke comes with you, and then it goes away, and then you have clarity. That's what it's like. Even just when you start reading this information to find out why things are the way they are, the first thing you do is start to question it. Good, you should. I've always said the blind faith in anything, including me, my words, anything. Blind faith does one thing. It puts knots in your head where you keep running into things, keep banging your head on the door, the wall, whatever, falling over rocks. Experience. That's your data. Reading, seeing. So all that is data relative to number 8, knowledge. Excuse me, that's something was being stupid, attacking this part of my head right now, and I told him to get away. He did. Yeah, what's really going on the other side? Some people think I'm crazy, all this stuff I talk about, all the fighting with spirit and everything, and Jay finds fault with the world because he's just not happy because things just, are tough. Things just, finish that thought in your own heads. Things just aren't right. Well, if you understand that things aren't right and things should be better, then how the hell am I crazy for bringing it up? How am I crazy for acting like that? If you were me and you were created to serve and protect everything, yeah, it'd have a bigger effect on you. All the information in these books, the over 600 and over 630 videos. Forget the other 600 that aren't on the internet anymore. She can get a few of them here and there. I have people coming to talk to me now from other places. I love you all, just wait. So this stuff I talk about, hell, what I just did, killing stuff, talking other stuff on the other side. That Jay guy must be crazy. Well, to prove I'm not, 2 things had to happen. Number 1, well, the one I want to say first was when Martin Parra, a really cool guy out in Europe, Martin, I'm sorry for, I'm at the end of this last life, and my memory has always been rough, and a guy came to me one time and said, I got to take more of your memory because you need more of your brain for your energy to reside in, to do your work through your body. And I said, okay, just, take the shitty memories, please. I'm big on saying thank you. I'm not that great on saying please all the time, I guess. Anyway, but Martin Parra paid for the quantitative electroencephalogram done on him in Sweden. And I proved using quantitative electroencephalograms, using one, the equipment. Folks, that's high-tech hospital stuff. It's used in hospitals. It's used outside of hospitals. It measures the power level and the location of different energy, electromagnetic energy going through your brain, what's doing what. And it proved that I can sit right here in a different chair, but right here I sat and did we did a laptop video. If you go to thespiritualfoundation.com, it's on there. It's a poor video. It's like an hour and 50 something minutes long. It's really poor quality, but hey, Martin and I did the best we could. Um, but you have the you have the base video, and then you have the information from it, and it proves that I can go into someone's brain, radically increase the energy in their brain while I'm here. And he'd had the test done in Sweden. I was right here in right here, Duluth, Georgia. Excuse me. I'm not gonna. Really don't want to show this stuff or anything. People. A lot of you are tired of that have been following me a long time. You're rightly so tired of me pulling out graphs and stuff. And I appreciate your patience because you understand new people come in all the time. There's a chart that's like this, okay? It's on the front page of the spiritualfoundation.com. And if you look where it says amplitude of symmetry, on the top left corner of the pink stuff, on the where it says Martin Me Alone, and then you look at it when I went into his brain, it's incredibly a whole lot more. And then you look at a blue one, okay? You look at it says it's about FFT, absolute power, and then you look at delta, high beta, on the chart when I wasn't in his head, and the scale goes from 4 to 17. The range of the power that was going through his head was from 4 to 17 scale. You look at the same graph and the same test. All we did is we repeated the test, but I went into his brain the second time. So the first one with him alone was from 4 to 17. The one when I went to his brain was from 0 to 1300. People, what I am, what big and little I am, whatever this thing is, what I've been telling you about is real. What I've been telling you about yourself, how cool and awesome you are, is real. It is real. It's not something you should rule out. It was obvious, and it was known to what I am out of this body, that part of it. The strongest part of what you are, and myself, is inside that body that you're in. The strongest point of your primary focal point of who you are is inside your body. And the rest of you comes out and floats around outside of the body. I know you all seen this one too. Folks, I do this for a reason, and later on, I'll be gone soon, and later on it'll be good for you to have. I do things for a reason, even if it's not understood at the moment by you or by myself. I've pointed that out to Deanna before, that, hey, this needed to happen, this is why. All right, now, see, this is the third dimension. Second dimension, there's a frequency filter that literally pretty much puts you asleep over here and doesn't let much energy, that's frantic energy and everything, that's coming out of your body, going into the rest of you over here. That keeps it, helps you stay, calm, asleep. Otherwise, there'd be an insane action going on all the time. Anyway, so that's why the much bigger part of yourself is floating around this dimension and this third dimension here, and then the second dimension above you. All the stuff you've heard about dimensions on the internet, unless you heard it from me or people that understand, having talked to me and can see it for themselves, it's not. We live in the third dimension, one right above us, 1.5 feet to the right, and then 3 foot up. That's the basic floor, the ground level of the other side. The psychics used to say, "I see angels floating behind you. They're about 3 foot off the ground." No, their energy's on basically ground level on the other side. And in the second dimension, we don't have bodies. We're energy. The only physical mass there is whatsoever in the second dimension, which is where all of us live when we're not in the body. There's no hell. All that stuff's bullshit. The only physical mass there is heavy particulate matter. So anyway, to prove that I wasn't crazy, with Martin's help, I proved that I can actually, that what I say about moving energy around is real. It can be measured with physically measured with physical instruments. Then at the end of 2015, I had to prove that I wasn't crazy. So what I did is the last thing you'd expect. I was hoping I'd be able to get out of this body and go home, but I knew ahead of time it wasn't going to happen, but I had to do it anyway. There's a lot to say. One breath. So, I took massive amounts of phenobarbital to put myself in a hospital, and then from there go into a rehab center where I had a board of psychiatrists and physical doctors, nurses, psychologists, social workers. They have you literally under lock and key. When it's time to go to the bedroom, you go to the bedroom, they lock you in, you ain't coming out. And there's, of course, people everywhere at night. So, I had to go there, and Deanna, I asked her to bring the all the sheets. There's 4 different sheets in this thing, okay? Quantitative electroencephalogram. There's 2 sheets of data, and then the 2 image diagrams. And if anyone knows what they're doing with someone who actually does the quantitative electroencephalograms, and they understand also how they work and how the computer spits it out, if they're really good at it, they can look at this information, all the information they sent you, and they said, this just, everything lines up. There's no way to fake that. You'd have to be some kind of computer genius, and I think we know I'm not that. Anyway, I really don't want to tell you how much I took. I told them 300 when they asked me, and I told them 300 because that was the only thing that came to my head. But I was so knocked out. I was in a hospital 6 to... Deanna? Honey, when did I get out of the actual hospital? The end of 2015. The medical hospital was at 6 or 10 days.
It was more than a week.
Yeah, I think it was 10 days is what I think I remember you saying. I don't know. 8, 10 days. It's more than a week.
You got there, I believe, on the 21st or 22nd of...
Yeah. Anyway,
then you were completely, you came back to the house on January 3rd.
yeah, but that was 2 hospitals.
Yeah, I know, but maybe that helps you.
Oh, honey, I can't even add right now. Poor Deanna, she's got to put up with me and do everything else. What does not put up with me, but she's got to take care of me. I mean, I can take care of my basic bodily functions, but that's about it, man. It's pathetic to be like this. But anyway, that's not important. I was in the hospital, the regular hospital, over a week, and I had taken so much that it had been absorbed by my bones. And then when they released me from the regular hospital, they took me down to the rehab center, and I had to sign paperwork down there. And I was there. You have to be there a minimum of 5 days. I was there for 8 because I happened to be there right in the middle of the New Year's. And for the New Year's celebration, all the psychiatrists and doctors, they take, they're the ones that release you when they take a 3-day holiday. So my holiday was extended 3 days. But that's fine. I was helping people, teaching people about energy and doing stuff, and people just, looked at you like, what are you doing? You know, why are you here? Phenobarbital has material in it. I had a bunch of it around the house because I've saved animals all my life. I once picked a beautiful white shepherd out of the middle of Beaufort Highway. I saw the guy drop him off out of the car. And I said, son of a... And that dog was having horrific, massive seizures. I eventually had to send him home. Called him Bear, Polar Bear. I'm happy for something that goes home, but it hurts me so much. Anyway, so I tell you, I took over 5,500 milligrams. You take 100, you're messed up. Don't ever take that stuff. People, I've always told you, don't ever put anything in your body that's not healthy for you. I had to do that for a reason. I'm no better than anything else, but nothing else is me. And don't take that as a dare, because it's not. Think. Be like me in one way. Be simple in your thought process. You want great mathematicians and everything, awesome. But I mean, when it comes to base sound principle for yourself, the simpler it is, the more honest you're being with yourself and the data that you're working with to make your own decisions and to build your own truth. You're going to have so much more to do in designing your life now than you've ever thought possible. So anyway, I did that, and then I went to the one board of psychiatrists. They said, hey, go have fun. You don't need to do drugs. We don't need to see you again. If you want to come by and say hi, come on by and visit. Damn. But you don't need to be here or be on drugs. You're fine. The only thing they said is that they had all the information on me, my YouTube channel, all the information, my bank accounts. They saw very little money come in, and almost all of it go right back out to vets and stuff like that. I had been with that Michelle Davis out in Southern California, doing all these consults and everything else. About $335,000 in a little over 2 years. What I produced for her. And she did everything. She tried to steal my copyrights and everything else. I don't care what someone says about this or that. Why do I say that? What's my reasoning for it? She had 4 different, at the Library of Congress, she had, this is a proven fact, so she can't do shit with this. And she's in trouble anyway. She's already been dealt with, but she'll be dealt with finally soon. That doesn't mean someone's going to go kill her. It just means when I'm out of this body and the other major stuff is taken care of, then she'll be dealt with over a period of time. She's no longer source. She was a source from Primary Lily and I, and she no longer is. What I give, I can take away. What Primary Lily and I give, I can take away. So anyway, so that was, but they saw me doing all this stuff and everything I created, and they were just like, holy shit. They looked at me and they said, there's just one thing we want you to do. One thing we'd like to see you do for yourself is just keep some of this money. Do something for yourself. Go take a vacation. And I just looked at them and I smiled, and they knew what I was setting up worldwide. They saw it. They knew it. They said, we think what you're doing is awesome. Everything you do, you show us daily who you are. And we have you under lock and key. You help people understand who they are, the energy they have inside themselves, how to reach it and touch it. You're helping people in here. You help people in here that are the doctors, I was helping everybody, and they just didn't know what the hell to think. But they said, the one thing we want to see you do is to take some of this money and keep it for you and spend it on yourself. And I said, man, you don't understand. Because they were saying, make yourself happy. And I said, you don't understand. I smiled right, looked them in the face with a loving smile and said, you don't understand, man. That's what makes me happy. When I was a little kid, growing up, who was I? What was I? I was talking with Spirit and stuff all the time, see it, talk with him and stuff, but all I cared about was to do everything I could for everyone else. Animals, people, plants, trees. All I wanted to do was everything I could for everyone else. Everything else. All I ever got was laughed at, beat up, put down, whatever for it, and I didn't care. Be yourself. What have I been saying for so many years? One of my favorite 3-word phrases is just be you. Damn. My heart misses a couple beats in it. It affects my breathing like that. Anyway. So they let me go. They just said, hey man, if you ever want to pop by, please come by. Right before I got out of there, this one nurse that was in there that was running the floor, and she said, Jay, if you don't mind, or John, they had to go by legal first names, John David Essex. She said, look, John, if you don't mind, let me see the graphs and everything again. I had all the data, the numerical data and everything else. The doctors and psychiatrists were going through this shit, looking at it all matching. They went from one page to another, to this page 4, page 1, page 2, page 3, page 1. They didn't just look at it and say, gee, that's nice, and put it down. They were literally going into it, analyzing it. And I don't mean for 20 seconds. So, and they have copies of it. So, and they've said there's parts of the brain we don't understand. It's just what's happening. We know there's so much more to it, but, and I explained, the brain, they say we use 10% of our brain. Bull crap. We use a solid 85% of our brain, but it's metaphysical. It's metaphysical energy. So, your conscious part of your brain's about 10%, a little bit up or down, doesn't matter. So anyway, and then when I got out of the place, I went, I had to wait 9 days, and then had an appointment with another board of psychiatrists, and there's just this one lady that I talked to. She represents the board. She pulled, did a psychological profile on me, triage. We were there for over an hour. It seemed like just a few minutes. I met her. I smiled. I remember all of you. When every time the original first being, male and female, released part of their energy to create new beings, I was there. Thank you. The lights flickering. That was on purpose. I had to be there because they made me strong. They made me able to see frequencies immediately. They made me like that because they made me to serve and protect. They wanted to be. I was going to be their hammer. Well, the hammer kept watching them screw everything. The hammer was strong as shit. Nothing could beat it up. Hit the hammer with another hammer. It bounced off me. And I just kept getting bigger and stronger, and eventually I changed myself. I mean, I changed my format, my thought process for what I wanted to be. And it was to serve creation. Not them, but to serve everything equally. Anyway, I know I get a little aggressive about that. I'm really annoyed I've been in a body this long, and I haven't been able to do my job yet, but I can now, because everything that was keeping me from it was dead. I'm so damn strong now that I can take on everything at one time and easily win. And this life was so freaky from having to attack so much. And I didn't go after it. At the beginning, I didn't go after anything at all. I just asked everything to leave me alone, including the first being, original first being, male and female. I said, just leave me alone. I don't want to attack anything. And they just kept attacking. Well, January 10th, the two of them came at me with a bunch of negative original source beings. There's a big story about the angel that they call Lucifer and the beginning of creation. That's in book 1. No one could ever bring you this information before because nothing was strong enough to go up against the original first being, male and female, all their damn primary original angels. They go in your head, they go through the upper crown, middle crown, lower crown, and right into the hypothalamus. Once they get in the hypothalamus, they run you, they own you. You are their, excuse me, little bitch, okay? You do what they tell you to, because when they go into the hypothalamus and they tell you to do something, you know for a fact that you need to do it. You don't know why, but you know it becomes part of you. The thought process becomes part of you. That's what happens. That's how they run these minds. Nothing ever ran lives except for the original first being, male and female. They're the ones that ran lives. The only ones ever. So they got real good at it. The name of this chart is the energy input and output of the crowns. It's not a name, a basic process, but here you have the filter where your self coming out goes through the filter to put it to sleep. This is the purple area. That's your upper crown. This is the person that's been cranked up. These areas are larger, much larger. Okay. Then here's the middle crown, which is like a lens, and then here's the lower crown, and then here's the hypothalamus. Once they go through here, right into the hypothalamus, you do whatever they tell you to do. You are whatever they say you are. There's your loving God, folks. I mean, I used to do this praise God thing when I was a little kid, but I never liked it. Actually, I wasn't big on this praise God thing. Come to think of it. I enjoyed all the people that were in a church that had love in their hearts, and some of them were vicious. There were others that were vicious. Very aggressive, controlling. Anyway, so they would just, mostly the angels, original first angels, were the original first being servants. They controlled them. They used them to run your lives. I gotta stop for a second. Okay. Had a hard time breathing, and then I forgot where I was. Not gonna pull a card out and look at it. I just talked with Deanna real quick. She's getting worked on real hard, but she has a lot more attention than I do. I've got like nothing left, and this body's been dying big time since 2015. Well, my lungs are really shutting down. Anyway, so what I was saying about the original first being, and then controlling your life, doing what you want to, you've never had free will. And now that they're dead, now that they're gone and the original first angels are gone, you do have free will. You've always, my thought process, you've always had the right to have free will on anything you want to do, as long as it doesn't hurt anything else and doesn't hurt yourself. The idea about the doesn't hurt yourself thing, think of yourself as a nice sports car, whatever car you like, and you're cruising down a mountain road that's got beautiful scenery on the side, but there's no guardrail. If you get a little crazy, you can fall off and do damage to yourself and or anyone else near you. There's an invisible wall now that you can see through, but if you go to get in trouble or you're something that wants to hurt someone else, you hit that wall. That's what I was made for. That's what I was made to do. So anyway, getting back on track, when I had to go see this other, it's a group of psychiatrists. The lady I talked with, doing a triage on me. We went in her finally after a long wait. Went into her private room back there, her office, and started talking. I walked in and I saw the animal stuff she had everywhere, and I was already feeling her. Oh, what I was saying before is I do know y'all, because when y'all came out, I was there. I had to be there to make sure I was protecting the original first being as well as everything else. So, and they made me before they made the other stuff, except for the other two original source first beings that were clean. The other two pieces that then split into male and female. So, and what they pulled me out of, I was the strongest damn thing there was anywhere. And my female counterpart was the same thing, but I had a little more power. She had a little more loving frequencies. That's primary Lily. Anyway, heart feels like shit. Good. I can't wait to leave. Anyway, so I looked at her and I read this lady that was in the psychiatrist that was doing the mental triage on me. I walked in there, looked at all the animal stuff. And then I looked. While I was still on the way to the chair after walking in the room, I looked at her, who she was, her life, and past lives and stuff. But first thing I do is look at who it is, because I remember all of you. And then we walked in and sat down, and I started talking a little quick, and she goes, "This is weird. I can feel your energy." And I just smiled. I said, "Yeah, I'm a little different." And we were talking about things, but she eventually wrote it off to the situation that had happened, just like the other folks did, as a one-time event, whatever, blah, blah, blah. That's how they wrote it off, to get me in and out of the places. Both places. Well, to get through both, first the rehab center, and then through the second group, which was after you were released. How were you doing? Did you still have problems? Were they coming back? And of course, she had all the same information in front of her. They had my case file, and it didn't take long talking with her a little bit, and I did a little energy work on her. She's just like, wow. So I, was leaving her the paperwork too, the quantitative electrical encephalogram. Well, on the other side, we're spirit, sentient energy, incredibly intelligent for base knowledge, but information relative to having lives, to being in a body, existing in that way and developing our feelings. There's two base emotions. People are going to disagree. That's fine. Love you anyway. But no, there's only two base emotions: fear and the anger that fear begins to produce. So they're two separate emotions, but they come from the same source of frantic energy that happens when you're in a body. It happens within the base energy field, or what they call the chakra. When you see, and you can see this too, I see it, I understand it, I trust it, I can manipulate it, okay, but you can see all this stuff too yourself. Manipulate it, you can relax it and stuff like that. So anyway, and she said the same. Anyway, the other psychiatrist said the same thing. Let's get out of there. Get done with that. She said the same thing. Just, hey, just take care, have fun. You ever want to talk? Great. I'm really busy here, but I said no. I got stuff I got to do. And she said, great. You don't need to see me or anyone else. You don't need to do drugs or anything. Just go. Have fun, but see you later. They thought they could see. In their heads, their thoughts were that they could see who I was, what I was doing, and what I was creating, and they were all happy about it. And she said also they're starting to realize there's a lot of stuff going on in people's brains they don't understand. And I told her, well, in the field of psychiatry, you have to understand that there was two people in there, two different spirits. There was the sentient energy or spirit that was originally part of Gaia, the planet's energy, and then there was the personal spirit being put into it. Either human, fae, or a mixture called Femen soul, or human, fae, or Femen essence. Essence is bigger and stronger, thicker, whatever. As far as power levels and complete varieties of energy, Source has complete energy in it. When you take a basic field and separate that field, then that's called essence. Okay, there's human essence, fae essence, Femen essence, animal essence, plant essence, and universal essence. Stars are male essence, and planets are female universal essence. So those are the two different types of universal essence. Stars male, planets female. Gaia is her name for here on this planet. So that's a Kundalini. The two snakes going up. No, that's Kundalini. All the thoughts about things firing up. There's a basic reason why those thought processes came out, but what they explained they couldn't see properly, and they were messed with when they're trying to see it. That's why I brought up the thing about the angels messing with people's thought processes. They kept you from seeing it. Now finally I'm having an epiphany or whatever. Reason I went this route to begin with is that this is why no one's put out this information yet. It had to be me. It had to have the power level to fight the original first being male and female together, minimum, plus all their angels. The whole time I was writing these books, I was fighting. I still have to deal with stuff today. And it's not once, it's all the time. There's whatever. How much is in other videos, which, are there for you to watch when you want to understand more. A lot of stuff is repeat. A lot of people will see just one video and they say there's stuff in there. Some of the basic stuff is repeated all the time because that's the most important part of the message. It sure as hell ain't me. Okay, I was made what I am, like I explained earlier, for a reason. So anyway, I had to prove to people that I wasn't nuts. So I did. And relative to the fighting, it was early on. It was July 10th, 2012. I destroyed a third of the original first being, both male and female parts. And I don't know what the day was. I don't care. This, you know, it wasn't a competition. It wasn't something to wear on my chest or my accomplishments to pin on the wall. But sometime in May of 2013, I wound up fighting and killing the rest of both of them. But way before that, it was 2010, I really started coming alive. That's why my first email used to have 2010 in it. J20, you know, whatever inside there was J 2010. Because 2010 is when I really woke up strong and I realized I was something different. But it was either 2010 or 2011. I know in 2011 I was already fighting original first being male and female heart. I think it was 2010, and of course I already was then too. It was 2010, I think, yeah. And then I was sitting up here in the room, and I was looking outside. Wasn't doing a video or anything, and I was just staring outside and just kind of really dismayed about everything. It's sad when you realize what creation is and all the problems, what's wrong and how it happened. But when you're the one that's supposed to fix it, and you've been around a long time and it's not fixed yet, you start really having issues with yourself. I don't mean pulling your last couple of hairs out. I mean, it's just like, damn, and you understand why haven't I fixed it yet? I wasn't able. I had to become something close to what I am. But honestly, when I got into the body of this life, I was pretty much already there. And then all this fighting and everything has turned me into something way past anything I ever expected. No one ever expected. Nothing on the other side ever expected this to happen and me become what I am now. And again, I keep saying this because I want you to realize that I know for myself, that I know beyond a shadow of a doubt I'm no better than anything else. What you don't know is that unless you can already feel it, because some people do know this, I don't want to be better than anything else. How can I? Because no one is. How can I? Because it's my job to make sure that everything's protected equally and everything's treated equally. It doesn't fit. It's back to the square peg in the round hole. Bam. So anyway, it's up here in this room, and I was sitting out, just looking out the window. I love my house is not even a third of an acre, and I've got greenery everywhere. You can't hardly see anything. For being in a place where there's, you know, all the lots are a quarter of an acre or more, or barely more. Almost all of them are just quarter acre. So they're not on top of each other, but they're not that close. And they're not that far away. But anyway, because of all the woods I have around, you have privacy, especially in the summer like right now. Shit. Anyway, I was sitting. I quit taking my blood pressure medicine this morning. I'm not going to physically hurt myself, but I'm getting out of here. I have to help myself. I've had everything promised. They're going to try to get me out of here, and they couldn't. They weren't able. It wasn't within their ability to get me out. Desire, their heart, yes. Thought process, they could actually do it, yes. Reality, no. And I understand. I'm not mad at them. How many times have I said on video, I'm about to get out of here? Well, I'm finally so sick I can't hardly even move. I had to literally, this body has to literally almost naturally die for me to get out. But part of me outside is now helping it, has been helping it die more and more. When you're in a body, you can't do any. As far as using your metaphysical abilities, you can't hardly do anything. Me, I've killed the original first being. What people call God never was. There's no such thing as a God. There's no such thing as a devil. The closest thing you had to any of that, especially the devil part, was the original first being, male and female halves themselves. That's the closest thing you ever had to anything like that. There's no such thing as a God. People, it's simple. We're spirit. We all came from the original first being, and there's 4 new ones waiting to come out. They're locked up in the first dimension, and the first dimension has been frozen. That's what you learn from the first book. Creation is beginning and your origin, the first one I wrote. That the first dimension is where 5 different energy fields came together. And then there's 5 of them that have to come together to create sentient energy. And the 5th and strongest part of who we are is an electromagnetic type of energy. When you what runs your body? It's no extension cord. There's no battery. Oh, the heart keeps the body going. What makes the heart keep going? Well, it's the brain keeps going. What makes the brain keep going? When you run tests on the body to check your health, what do? You take electrical tests. EKGs, blah, blah, blah. Well, why? Why is that the unit of measure? Simple answer. This is not through deduction. This is my knowing for a fact, seeing, understanding. And a lot of you, more and more of you now are doing that, especially those of you who have cranked up. And more people are going to. It's going to start happening. It's going to be natural. As soon as I get out of here, and I'm almost there. Anyway. You, the spirit, that's what makes the body run. That's the battery for your body, is you, the real you. You're looking at the body that was officially given a name of John David Essex when I was adopted. My real name, who I am, is Arae. I'm Arae. I call myself J. Arae Essex. I have 3 legal names. John David Essex, legal names. John David Essex, my original, and then J. Essex and J. Arae Essex have been used in other things which had them put on legal documents. I didn't do it. It's just how it came out. Legal stuff. I'm talking in court, lawyers. J. Arae Essex, J. Essex, John D. Essex, all of them. Anyway, to try and finish this one thought process, I was sitting here, and then all of a sudden this huge thing comes up next to me over here, and it's male, and it's part of me. I feel the connection, and it goes, "Come outside. I want to talk to you." And it's not demanding. It's when we talk to ourselves out of body and stuff. We just talk as it is. There's no reason for someone to say, "Oh, they're trying to control me," or something like that. You don't feel controlled, so it's not. Let it go. So, wait a minute. I forget. When did he actually say this, the destroyer? Okay, that's what first thing he said when we were talking. He started saying something, I forget what it was, and I said I was so mad. He looked at me and he wanted me to understand more about who I was and what was going on. And I just said, I'm tired of this fighting. I said, I keep telling them to leave me alone, and if they don't, I'm going to kill them. Talk about spirit on the other side. But they keep coming. So I keep killing them, and they don't learn. It's insanity. Not mine. So he said, he goes, "You're the destroyer." And he said, you're wearing overalls. That's how plain and calm he said it. Pissed me off. I said, I serve, I protect. I heal, I do everything I can to serve and protect, not destroy. And he goes, you're the destroyer. And I got mad, and he goes, come with me outside. So I didn't see a physical body. In my head, I saw who he was. He was leading me downstairs. I went through the sliding glass doors in the backyard, and he said, look up. And I looked into the sky. I've heard other people say this, but this is one of the very few times I've ever done this. I looked up into the stars, blah, and literally I went right through space. I was there out in the middle of it. I saw beautiful nebulas, stars. It was so, I could see so well that it was like having 100, not 20/20 vision, but 120 vision, meaning that at 100 feet, I can see what the normal person saw at 20 feet. So the clarity was that strong. And he said, that's where you belong. So, here the back of the house was behind me, kind of straight flat like the shelves. And then he was right here, so I turned around, I physically turned around, I looked right at him, and I said, why? What's with the destroyer thing? And he just left me with this soft kind of not sad, but kind of, leading towards sadness. He said, that's just sometimes who you have to be. That's part of who you are, is what he was saying. But when he said part of who you are, the understanding was not by desire. When you get more into telepathy, things happen quick. I had a conversation with a few hundred people that didn't last. It was a full conversation and didn't last 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seconds, 8 seconds. The full extent of the discussion. And we covered a whole lot of stuff. You have no idea how awesome and intelligent you are. The body is limited, not you in your natural state. When you're in a body, you're screwed. Take a tuning fork. I've said it 1,000 times, well, whatever, hundreds of times. You take a tuning fork, smack something solid, you hear it, that beautiful ring, that singular pitched note. Now do it again, so you hear it and you know it, and quickly stick it inside a thing of a jar of oil, and then you put it back up to your head, and it goes, yeah. It'll make a mess of your shoulder and stuff, moving stuff around, but, she'll pull a pitchfork out of the oil, tuning fork out of the oil. That's you going in the body. People, things are simple. You've just never been allowed to see it because of the original first being male and female telling all their servants, original first angels, to make sure you don't ever think that. How do you think they sustained this thought process of a perfect, all-loving, all-forgiving, incredibly awesome God that also made hell to abuse and torture you to the max forever? If something really loved you, why would it let these things happen to you? What happens to you in your life, that's a bitch. Why do you... This goes really simple, just like me. Hell, I wear overalls. Well, you can't see them. I'm wearing overalls. I just don't wear the top part when I'm talking because I can't breathe. My lungs are screwed up. They have been all my life. COPD and what they're starting to call CLLI, chronic lower lung infections. Anyway, it's as simple as overalls. Just a minute. Shit. Excuse me. Fracking heart. Anyway, What was I talking about? The male and female just going in, you run and you. Oh yeah, with religions, how do you think they kept that crap going? By telling you it was true, making you believe it, think it, go inside that hype. Put the angels, go inside those angels put on you. Oh, God gives you angels to serve you. La, no, they don't. The original first being put them on top of you to control you. Almost everybody had at least one heavy-duty archangel. Well, I had an archangel. The stronger you were, then you'd have a really heavy-duty one, and sometimes you'd have 5 real strong heavy-duty archangels put on you. Just to control you. Anyway, that's how religions kept going. They say the truth eventually comes out, not unless whatever's keeping the lie going is gotten rid of. It is now. And that makes a lot of noise. Anyway, all I ever wanted to do was just take care of everything. I can never express to you how much everything means to me. That's you and everything else, equally. And for things to be the way they are, for me, is so sad. Anyway, I've left you so much information to help you become who you are. The ETs, they've been living here around us, everything else. They've come here in large numbers and mass a few years ago because it was time to free all the prisoners on this planet, ET prisoners. Excuse me, it was time for this new awakening. They knew it was going to happen. They didn't know how it was going to go. Remember, our friends running, there's satellites. There's 4 of them always running. Okay, and there's a total of 7 of them. But there's a satellite, and there's some other land-based thing. 8 different units, but whatever. There's satellites that these NSA and other idiots have. And like I said, NSA, they're all going. I'm taking them out. Me. Not this body. Me, Arae. Primary Arae, initial, the original. I'm taking them out. A lot of other stuff. Your cartels, all these idiots and everything going nuts, they're all going. You can't understand, you can't fathom how creation could ever be like that. Well, that's because it's never been like that. People have been coming in and out of bodies, having lives. Started with primary Lily and I, initial Lily and I. In Earth years, it started over 2 quadrillion, 861 trillion years ago. And it happened on a planet called Gaia. And she was planetary essence, the biggest, largest one ever. And her spirit mate, the other half of who she was, his universal essence, his name was Raul. That's the name he gave me. Gaia, that's the name she gave me. They're in book 3. Might be in book 2. I don't know. Might be in book 1. I can't remember. Okay, sorry. Honestly, if you care about yourself and understanding what's going on, if you care about any of this, take the time to buy the books and read them. People say Jay talks this and that, but it's all just commercials to sell his stuff. I want you to have it. I can't give it away. Can you all go around buying stuff and giving it away? Well, no matter how rich you are, you do that, you're eventually going to have nothing. Me? I can't do that. I do things for others, not myself. I'm on Social Security. Deanna, she owns a spiritual foundation. She takes care of me. And the spiritual foundation has got a lot of growth going. And all of you that have paid for the crank ups and each stone you buy, you have no idea the importance of what you're doing, because it all goes out to helping others, to keep and to helping others to wake up for the whole thing. There's some heavy hitters on this planet in the entertainment business as well as other places that are source that are about to get involved with the spiritual foundation. Okay, they're going to help it become what it's supposed to be. I'll be on the other side making sure all this stuff happens. I didn't come in this body one last time for no reason. And what's the reason? Everyone and everything. Time to wake up. Become yourself. Your freedom. Your real freedom. Original first being, male, female. We're God. You know, all this other stuff. We give you free will. And they had angels they put on top of you all the time to actually go down into your hypothalamus and run you. They proved to me early on when I first met them. I said, wow, that's Mother, Father, God that Subby Brown's talking about. And then they started lying to me. The male didn't talk that much, as the female was more active, so she lied to me, you know, more times, but that's because I talked to her so many more times. And I couldn't believe all this stuff, and that's right after that is when that part of me just came to visit and said, look, this is who you are. You know, this is temporary. Up there, that's where you belong. And that's when I looked up in the sky and I could see everything. He helped me. So I've wanted all of you to learn who you are, what you can do, and yeah, this stuff costs a little bit of money. All of my books that I wrote, Deanna owns everything, every single thing. Hell, I guess I was going to say what I do own is my overalls. All those books, everything's released to go to the library whenever they want to buy it. So, you know, that something has to go through different channels, but as far as having the ability to do so, I've already released it. We have to get paid back for what we've spent to get these things done. Thousands of dollars. Thousands and thousands of dollars for each book, especially this last book. People, this is about you and everything around you. How important you are. Who you really are. What you can do. Everyone thinks they're a body. And they think when they die they got to worry about going to hell. No such thing. If there is a hell, there's only one hell. You're in it. It's called a body. Physical body. It's important to me to understand what you mean to me. It's natural, it just is, but knowing and understanding that is really important to me. It doesn't need to be important to you, but what should be important to you is who you really are, and where you came from. I've done it before when I've really got upset about protecting those close to me that I love. But recently, when Deanna was attacked, and I love everyone and everything, period. But those that are close to me and I'm so overly protective about, attacking one of them is bad news. And when something attacks source, That came from me. All the clean source that running around that in lives, their origin was myself and primary Lily. I get upset. And when I get that upset, the rest of me will fire up. And I have killed things. What I just went through with the NSA and some of their groups. Dropped them dead. Reptilian, Anunnaki that were here. Hurt them. I talked about a female Anunnaki that was in Nebraska, in Arizona. And then another from the Arizona Anunnaki clan, and then the gentleman from the CIA, the female Anunnaki. I hit her hard when I pushed her back in her body, and then I messed with her pineal, so she wouldn't be going in a chair again, and I felt bad because she was a good person. And then the guy from the CIA, I was really pissed at him, but he was a good person. I felt it. So then I let go of him, and then another part of me outside of me literally went in and just killed him while he was sitting in the trip chair. And that part of me that did that is no longer around. I've had to clean myself up too. And then the female from Anunnaki, the female Anunnaki out in Arizona that was in a trip chair, she was no longer any good for that. They killed her. People, you have no idea how insane and how sick creation is. One person understands this stuff. As the one person who understands this stuff close to what I understand is Deanna, because she's had to live right here with me, ground zero. All of y'all been getting attacked, involved in this new awakening, have been getting attacked forever. That's about it, It's about at an end. As soon as I'm out of a body, man, I'll tell you what, within 2 weeks' time, anything that gets near you that has negative thought process and doesn't acts on it whatsoever is stopped. And if not set aside or, dealt with, it'll be deleted. That's how you change this stuff. It doesn't happen overnight. You don't open up your refrigerator and there's free magic food and you think about something nice and here comes a unicorn taking you to Hawaii or the Maldives, for vacation. Here's your new car, truck. No. It's about your daily life becoming more tolerable. These physical bodies never should have happened. They were made to abuse you. Anyway, and stone energy, I've talked about that. Deanna's got all that stuff here. I've cranked up, and Deanna's been living here now. She owns a house with me. Owns a house. She's been here 3 years. Her energy's really strong. So, and it's not that other source is not. Okay. I talk about Deanna because she is the spiritual foundation. Her and me when I was here and what I am, I'll be taking care of it after I leave. I'll be taking care of everyone. And so you fall down, hurt yourself or something, don't get mad at me. I can't turn around and make everyone's life perfect, but you don't understand the stuff I'm involved in, what I have to do. There's no God or nothing else. There's us. And I'm your oldest brother. And I happen to have freakish abilities out of body. You have incredible abilities, but out of body, in body or out of body, but especially out of body, what I can do is ridiculous. In a body, I destroyed the original first being male and female. And everything else. All the original angels that were problem, which is almost all of them. So, I'm not trying to brag or compliment or glorify myself or something sickening like that. I'm explaining what's going on. I'm telling you, there's a lot of changes already happening, but it's all about to go like this, poof. All of you that have been what they call psychic readers, when you go to give a reading and you get this much right, that right, and but at the end of the reading you had for someone, like in person, using cards, which is great, it's a lot of fun. Uh, uh, Cards are a physical evidence, even if you don't need it. It's a physical evidence to show somebody this card came up and this is how it's relative. And that, people, this is when you use cards, you're helping someone. You help yourself, but you're also helping someone else see things, and then we relax and relate. It helps us relax and relate to the message going back and forth. The rune cards, they help you talk with your spirit guides in so many ways. It's the Elder Futhark and a bunch of other different symbols that I've used on other planets. Well, I'm bringing them all here. I brought them all here now for the persons for the this new awakening. I used to make them out of leaves out of tree limbs that have fallen, small ones, branches that had fallen off of the Fay beech tree here. I've got a few beech trees, but one of them's the Fay beech tree. So anyway, when I was a little kid, I was, I was 5 years old when finally I was told by my father. He gave me a fist and said, "You keep doing this, and I'm going to beat the frack out of your face." I mean, I don't know how else somebody has to say something for me to understand. You hear these words and you're like, okay, I need to stop because I'm a little 5-year-old child and this is a grown man threatening to beat the hell out of me. It was natural. I liked my auntie, my mother's sister. My parents were adopted, but it's my adopted mother's sister. I was all anxious. I wanted to talk with her and then talk to my cousin Donnie, her son. I was just happy. So the phone was ringing, and I told my mom, I got all excited. I was by the phone. I got all excited. I said, I want to talk to Andy. I want to talk to Auntie. And she goes, how do you know? She started getting real mad. It's like, here he goes again, goddammit. This isn't right. It's not allowed. God and Jesus don't fit into it. So my mother answered the phone. She goes, oh, hi, Emma. That was her sister's name. Inside that nasty bitch of a woman was the most wonderful, loving person. When my mom was dying, my adopted mother was dying, she was having times where she'd fade in and out, and my grandmother had died a good while ago. My Grammy, I used to call her. She was the only one I had. She was my dad's mother. She was awesome. She was so fracked with in life. Anyway, by her son and her, my mom's physical body, but Grammy would come touch me over here on the head when she come by to see me, and we'd talk. And all of a sudden, I felt something touch me here, and I was downstairs, and I said, "What, Grammy?" And I said, "That doesn't feel like you." And I felt the energy. I said, "Mom?" I said, "Ooh," I wiped my head. I said, get the hell away from me. And then she said, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for what I've done." And I said, "Just stop. I know who you are. And I love you. You know that. But you're not going to feel much of that love while you're still stuck in that body because of what that body's done to me." People don't have on this planet, not everywhere, but on this planet, people don't still have a Kundalini dual spirit core. I pulled all the earth and spirits out of the bodies on everything living on this planet, except for those that only have that in it, like fish. These little pieces of Gaia that she released have really gotten sick from being abused to keep going into bodies having lives. I pulled a part of it out of myself, and I went to return it to Gaia, and Gaia was she was beating on it like she was trying to kill it. Everything is sad. Everything's wrong. You're given enough happiness to make sure that you don't want to jump out of your body too early in age, committing physical suicide. And sometimes you've had so many lives that you really need a break and you have a decent life. Sweetie? Deanna? Yeah? Honey, please give me some water from the bedroom next to my chair. I ran out. Thanks, sweetie. Didn't mean to yell at you. I thought you were downstairs, maybe. And Deanna, she's got a hard time sleeping. Sometimes she can catch a little break during the day. When you're so in tune with everything and being bothered by everything, man, it's rough. Anyway, all I've ever wanted to do was everything I could for everyone. Everybody keeps saying I was nuts, I was sick, whatever. Thanks, honey. That water's so good. That's what I am. That's my intention, my design. But when something starts hurting something else, I immediately just flip. You must stop. Put up a wall. You still want to, I'm going to let go of you. You're going right back there? No, you're not. Four months after this body's dead and I'm free, I don't have a date. I have to die. As naturally as possible until this other part of me I've created that did that a long time ago, but I've made it 3 times as strong. It's working, trying to help kill this body. I had to do the ET video, and I wanted to do this video, and now I'm just gonna do some things for Deanna, and send some stuff off to my son Matthew out in California, and my friend Mark and his family and his mom, they're out in Texas. He was my best friend during my high school years when I moved to Georgia. I didn't know back then who I was or who he was, but he's sourced from Lily and I. It's in human thought process. You want to say it's your child, but it's not at all. Again, it's the bucket theory, the bucket process. Lily's energy, my energy, you put it in a bucket, get a cup, take a cup of the energy out, and that's it. It's releasing energy. That's how you have energy. That's how you have build new bodies to have lives in Fae. I've done that a long time ago, years ago, with the Queen of Fae. It's just putting energy, and you lay together. You relax. She comes near you, very close, like floating on top of you, and then you just release some of your energy. Then with Fae bodies, in 4 days, 3-4 days, their children are like 3, 4, 5 years old. 3, 4 years old. People, think that's nuts. Well, it's nuts compared to anything you've ever had the opportunity or ever been allowed to start finding out for yourself. Again, it goes back to why I had to do what I did, put myself in harm's way to prove I wasn't nuts. It's not that anyone that says anything that's absurd is nuts. It doesn't mean that whatsoever. Look at Simon Parks. I understand about him saying that at 3.5 years old, he was giving birth. He was mating with female reptilians, creating babies. What? He's not nuts. He's he's strong pineal, but he's just been messed with so much. Everyone has. I've always had an advantage that way. I'm like, if you might have to Google Atlanta/Stone Mountain to understand what I'm saying. It's a huge piece of granite that's here. And in a way, my strength, power level, it's like Stone Mountain. You can hit it with a really hard hammer, but so what? It's not going anywhere. I mean, I'm strong. I can take a beating, but anyway, I've said enough of that crap about myself. I just want you to understand a little bit about myself before I go. What's important to me, what I've done and why, and what I left you for you to become who you are. To at least realize who the hell you really are. People, you're awesome. There are so many of you that the vast majority of you are so beautiful. Yes, I use the word beautiful. It's unreal. So many of you are awesome, beautiful beings. Look at the world, the creation that was made for you to have lives in. And many of you are out there showing your love and getting beat on for it every day. And you keep going. If you got little kids, close their ears. I want to tell you something. Y'all fucking rock. To be put in such a situation and to keep fighting. And I'm almost free, and I'll never be in a body again. And I know what I'm doing. I understand being in a body and everything else. I've had over 10.846 trillion lives. The more lives you have, excuse me, the more time you spend in them, the more wisdom you've collected. First, we retrieve data, number 8, numerologically speaking, and then we begin to understand it. You see something, okay, you see, okay, this happened, and then you start understanding what's involved in all that, and that goes to number 2, okay? The greater the collection of understandings you have from all this knowledge, and continually still taking in more knowledge, number 8, creating more understandings, number 2, you wind up with number 9. People say number 9 is completion. No, it's not. Number 9 is accumulation of wisdom. Okay, it has to do with a type of fortitude and strength, but it's about development. We come into these bodies to develop who we are. Wow, damn. That was a good one. No pain on that one. It's just really weak. I've always been so aggressive and so strong, but aggressive and actively aggressive because everything keeps attacking me. It keeps messing with me, screwing with me when it's trying to help me when it doesn't know what it's doing, and it's putting me on guard. Finally, most of it is just now being kept away. Okay, and I'm having real bad problems with the nervous system going through my spine due to the arthritis, my hips. Um, I can't hardly at all walk. I'm out of the house. I got to go to the doc or something. The wheelchair is there for exactly that. Crutches is too hard for me to use the crutches anymore, except for from here to the car. It's time for me to go, and that's really good. I need to be my real self to properly serve everyone. Don't ever tell me what to do. If you need something desperately in your head, scream it. See what happens. Just let me get out of here. I've helped other people while I'm still in a body a lot. People see this huge gold lion. Sometimes they see unicorn or big, thick dragon. But they say, Jay, I saw you. One was about to be attacked by a pit bull. She rescues animals, and it jumped up. It was getting ready for that final jump to come up. And then instead of jumping in the air, all of a sudden its eyes went like this, and it ran to the side, and she got and sat in a corner. It went to the side, sat in a corner, turned around and looked at her, scared as shit. And she called me up, and it was a gold dragon. She goes, Jay, I saw your energy. I felt it. I know it was you. And I looked at her and said, yeah, lion. She goes, yeah, a big gold lion. Just let me get out of here. I'll do my job and take care of things. And you will have, while it's still locked in the physical bodies, which that stops, and within 2,000 years, only 10% of these physical bodies will be left. That's creation wide. Just give me a chance to be me again, and I will take good care of you. I will give you the best lives you can. I mean, that you can have while being in a body. I'm just trying to do my job. I've been called a destroyer, everything else. On the other side, people that know what I am, whether or not I'm in a body, but I call myself the janitor. You have a day, you work hard, you leave work. I come out with my mop and my broom, my hammer and tools, and I clean the floor, wax it for you, empty your garbage cans, tighten up the loose doorknobs. I don't want any thanks for it. I just want to do what I need to do. That's my need, is to take care of everyone. I don't think that's a bad thing. Every time I talk about it too much, though, I look down, I look away because I'm sad because I'm not doing it yet. Because I've never been able to do it. I do what I can, but it's time for things to happen the right way. Primary Lily and I want everyone to have the kind of life that we should have had our very first life, instead of one of horrific abuse, one of compassion, exploration. So there's so much stuff about to happen with ETs and everything else, and everything's in place. I just gotta leave. And I'm so close. when you read the EKGs and EEGs and stuff, you're seeing the reading of your spirit going through the body, going through the nervous system, and where it comes out, you know, the energy pulses, energy pulse. My energy's so strong, even though my DNA's changed to adapt to it, to try to be stronger. I've been burning up this neuro system that I have, and for a while I've had sclerosis. I have sclerosis and cirrhosis, the same, not the same disease, but the same sounding name. But these nerves going through my body, the outer covering on them, it's all, you know, it's like too much electricity goes through a wire, you start heating up the insulation on the wire. It couldn't handle that. So, but all the arthritis and everything going on with this spinal cord, it's all the nerves going through, it's really screwed up now. And then finally now at this point in my life, I'm weak enough and sick enough, and what I have outside to help me, part of me, is strong enough to where it can take me home. And there's some other strong parts of me that are out there waiting to help, but this one part I finished putting together is huge. Incredibly powerful. So, one thing I have to be is calm to get out of this body. I have to be relaxed. Not crazy, fighting, screaming. When I get out of the body, I'll be so mad, and I'll be me, able to do things, horrific things I can tell you about, but more than that I can't tell you about yet, because no one knows, including what I am out of body. I've never been this thing before. But I need to be able to let go of this body. And for that, I need to be calm, relaxed. Well, with the problem with this arthritis and stuff in the spine and my nerves, I have real bad hip problems where I can't hardly move or anything, and a lot of it's due to the lower, lower lumbar, the lower part of the spine coming off the cervix going up. So they had to put me on I don't take them daily, just at night to sleep, but if I have to take it during the day, I will. And it's getting worse. It's a muscle relaxer. And so I take a half one at a time. I'm not trying to be a druggie. And then as soon as I did and relaxed, and then that part of me that comes out from my heart that's really strong is going to help me get out of here. He said that's how you need to be, excuse me, to release. So that was to release me from this body. So to release myself from the body, help release myself from the body. So anyway, it's time. I've had Raven screaming at me it's time to go and everything great. Everything was set, but nothing could do it. My last life, Gandhi, I had 2 starvation diets where my internal organs were just coming apart. 3/4 of most all my important internal organs were just already shutting down, almost non-functional, and still those 2, family members, niece, whatever, they're holding me up. I couldn't walk. And then finally, some guy shot me 4 times. I'll never be in a body again because I need definitely to be out of a body. And all the other ones are gone. The only thing that's left is a bit of, most of the good folk on the other side now. They're just being quiet, staying out of the way. But we have a lot of idiots running around, either trying to help and they're stupid, don't know how to. They're doing something that's aggressively abusive towards me, or the very few that are still left that are abusive. So, anyway, I will be out of here soon. A little over a year ago, I said I'd probably be out of here in 2 weeks, but here it is. All that time happened, but now I've had enough happen and show me. I've had all the tests done. Your heart's shutting down, lungs shutting down, yada yada yada. Anyway, I've left Deanna some other information that might come into a video at some point. We'll see. It's up to her. There's going to be so much stuff happening soon with ETs. And remember, after that stuff, it has been set up for about 2080. Who knows? Maybe we can do it 2040. I'll know when I get out of here. You're going to start meeting the Fae that live right here on the earth with us in these different bodies. You've had lives in those bodies. They're energy bodies, spirit bodies. They're going to teach you and show you first, and then teach you how you can be energy and then condense yourself into a physical body and then release it again. Because that's where everyone's going. You'll come out of these bodies and you won't go into a body for a long time. What you would say 150, 250 Earth years. And then when you're definitely relaxed enough, you're going to go into an energy body in another universe. There's 1,672 universes, new universes. Anyway, everything's going to become better than it ever could have been. Now that the original first being male and female and their servants, the original angels, now that they're gone, and tons of source. Now that they're gone, everything's going to change. Your lives are going to become so much easier. No one to harass you, only help you. And those of you that are calling yourself psychic readers, honestly, you're metaphysical practitioners. You might want to think about staying away from the word psychic. Psychic and psycho, it's too close together. And if someone's not anybody can be a psychic, where the thought process is, which is a lie, because everyone has metaphysical abilities. You use them all the time. What do you call them? Mother's intuition. And then when you start pulling out cards and stuff, and have a physical showing for the message, thank you. It's a physical proof that you're giving the right message, and then part of it doesn't come true, and the people come back, damn, it didn't happen. What's the matter with you? You suck. You're not a real psychic, And you're like, I've had so many of you come up to me over the years, and say, Jay, man, I gave them the message. I mean, I'm good about getting the message. I heard the message clearly. I gave it to them, and it turned bad. Well, the original first being male and female made sure that happened to mess with you. To screw with you, screw with them. When someone's dying, they're dying. But guess what? Everyone that loves them, they suffer too. What does that do? Creates more abuse for the spirit inside the body, so that when your body dies, when the body you're in dies, and you come out, you grow. When you've had a real abusive life, and you come out of that body, you grow more. And they were trying to make all of you super big, so that December 21st, 2012, that those of you out of body, the big ones, they were going to put you together, you and your spirit mate, put you together. You can never become one again, but it's like two hands holding on to each other. Damn. Keep going. You're going to go to one of these new universes, release a third of your energy, and then you have all these new praise givers. Praise Almighty God. Praise Almighty God. Mother, Father. Praise Mother, Father, God. That's what's supposed to happen. I was supposed to come here saying praise Mother, Father, God, following Sylvia Brown and what she's been saying, and start telekinetically moving things around everywhere, which would be fake. The conscious mind cannot control that going through your head. Your energy can fire up and yourself out of body can do it. But with me anyway, I should clarify that real quick. I've had my energy fire up like that, and then things move. But was I consciously controlling it, creating it? No. It was myself out of body, touching my body, and then moving stuff. I've had a bunch of this stuff happen. I just leave the building. I get out. It's like stone stores and stuff, where it's a small area, and I could quote unquote brag about my energy doing this. Screw that. I just leave. And people, this last time I'm thinking about it was in Athens, it's in the town of Athens, just outside of the university. It's a nice stone store, and here's this, my energy freaked up and start freaking out. I'm like, damn it, I have to lean over, and the base of my spine starts cranking up, and it goes coming out, going up the spine, and all of a sudden a few items came off of a shelf, and then literally jumped over this little edge and landed on the floor. You could take it and push it up to the edge, and it ain't gonna fall off because there's a piece of wood rim goes around the shelf to keep anything from falling off. It actually went over it. And as soon as it happened, I knew where it happened. I went over there and looked, and this one young lady that worked there, she's already staring right at me. She saw it happen. My energy. I just looked at her. I looked at her. I looked at the situation. I just saw it move. Everyone's getting excited, and she, I looked at her. She was still looking at me. She gave me this big smile, and I didn't mean to be rude. I just turned around and just walked right out. So anyway, this stuff I'm telling you about, do whatever you want with it, but I'm going in all you after I get out of here. And I'm going to start showing you the reality of this God concept, of the devil concept. The field is just a very small part of what I am. So, it goes through everything. You're going to understand things for yourself. Not be told what to do, but to see things. Think of it as somebody putting on a pair of glasses, somebody going in you, and all of a sudden fixing your brain and eyes so that you can actually see and understand things the way they actually are. I serve, I'm just not a servant. You'll see all the animals go. It's going to get aggressive, and then just keep going, but it's going to be aggressive as hell. Animals, think about this thought process of a loving God. Animals killing each other all day long. We kill each other. We kill ourselves. We kill animals, eat them. It's fight or flight. Why is there any fight or flight process? I mean, why is it there? If there's a loving God that actually loves us, and this is not something I'm processing in my mind as far as this makes sense, no, bullshit. I see it, understand it, I'm there. My energy flows through everything. But I've always known that. I'm different. That's why I'm the one that's doing this. That's why I'm here one last time. And that'll be everywhere, forever. But how can you have a loving God where the situation is where everything's killing each other? So how could that exist? Loving God, abuse and death, torture, hell, none of that makes sense. So anyway, things are going to happen in a way that you might not understand at first. You'll find out more about me from the ET folks. I'm getting ready to get off the video, and they're just waiting on me. They hit me hard earlier in the video. They went into my head, just up to my head, trying to go inside, but they reached inside enough with their energy to say, hey, I'm like, so I got stuff to do. I feel bad. I've ignored them. The feel is part of me. It's everywhere. That's not my conscious mind. Nothing can do that. These bodies are horrific in ways you don't yet understand, but you will. So anyway, when I say horrific, I'm talking about who you really are, the maintenance and production of all the abuse going on. You say something, you feel it, you hold an animal you're loving, you say, well, how could that be bad? Well, that part of it isn't bad. But that dog's gone through hell. That animal essence, or it used to be animal essence, it's not anymore. Inside a dog, it's a human soul, fey soul, feminine soul, or human essence, fey essence, or feminine essence. And understand the essence, soul, source, all that stuff starts in book. It is in book 1, and then carried on through the other books and mentioning it's. That's why it's important. If understanding who you are, what's going on, and waking up is important to you, it's important you have those 3 books, or consume the information in it. So, anyway, I'm falling over. I got to. I got to get going. My eyes are going to shut in a minute. The rest of the time I'm here, I'm just going to pretty much vegetate, trying to relax and go yet. So, those of you that have sent us gifts and stuff, we really appreciate it. It's very nice of you. And there's no need to send us anything. We're good to go. It's just needing things to be quiet, and so I can get out of here. I'm literally shutting myself down. My eyes going to close in a minute. I had plenty of sleep, and I haven't taken since last night. I hadn't taken any muscle relaxer or anything, but that shut me down. Oh, when my energy shut me down. Pneumite. We have a bunch of pneumite. Okay, Deanna does. It's her stone, but whatever. There's a large piece of pneumite, 2 smaller pieces. Pneumite takes your energy, relaxes it, and then right below your knees, it all of a sudden just starts spreading out along the top of the ground. It's relaxing, but it's not like hematite or something that grounds you into the ground. Serpentine goes through your body, and it's almost like partially grown roots, but it goes through the core energy, affecting it. Now, these are some pieces, nice pieces of, see that? Let me let them focus and try to tilt them in some ways. This is fuchsite. It's really, really clean, beautiful fuchsite. Fuchsite, when you hold it, It goes through your hands into your core. It starts going down, but then it also goes straight up above your head, stays there, and boom, goes straight down to the ground. It's like creating a strong shaft going through your body, stable, balance. And then the pneumite on top of that helps your energy relax and not ground out to the earth, but relax through your body and then flow down low. So it makes you strong but relaxed at the same time. So I have those in my pockets today. Just help out a little bit. So anyway, hell, honestly, I just want to say goodbye. I don't know exactly when I'm going. When I go, I go. But I know I'm done. I've done everything I could for you. And I'll always be like that. That's what I am. But soon I'll be my real self. And that's when I can take care of things. So. Alright, folks. I've said before, I don't have a lot of frequencies of hope, but I do hope that that you want to wake up and become yourself. And if you do, I've given you all the information and tools. I've created them, designed them, built them. Deanna makes all these spheres and stuff, and they're all available at thespiritualfoundation.com. If not, you can pick up a piece of stone on the ground, clean it off. And in the books, I talk about talking with stone. Okay, it's not like having a normal conversation, but it's communicating to know that who's in the stone. To understand what a stone's composed of. And those spheres, we just made another one going to Canada. That sucker's reaching out 45 foot. Just like the one before that we made for Frank. And then others before that. And I've gone back into all the spheres that were max spheres that have enough star arsenite in them. And I cranked up the energy inside them to where they're going to be reaching out 25 foot. But the closer I am to getting out of here, the stronger my energy is, because more of it's free and it's out floating around the field and everything else. But damn, 45 foot, it's pretty funny. If you have one 4 or 5 foot away, you're fine. All the spheres go at least that far. So you can put them on a night table next to you. And when you're sleeping, they're working on you. And the max spheres made to crank you up and make you stronger. Whether it's 25 foot or 45 foot. You put that sucker in the house, it's reaching out everywhere. You have 3-4 bedrooms in, one part of your house. You put that in the middle, it's going out everywhere. It's going to hit everybody. So you start getting stronger and awakening while you're sleeping. You can do binaural beats and all that stuff. It's not that none of that stuff will help you at all, but nothing will do nothing can come close to doing what these spheres do for you. And there's no battery, there's no electrical cord, there's no nothing. You don't need special headsets, you don't need whatever. Take them to work, leave it at home. There's a bunch of people. There's a bunch of people have a few of the spheres. Hell, Alex, I think he's got every sphere we've ever made, and Jonathan out in England, he's got just about the same thing too. I mean, I should speak more names. It's just the two on top of my head, and that's all I got. This brain is shutting down. So anyway, look, folks, they help. And soon, Deanna will be doing crank-ups again, DNA ICUCs, and then other people who are source that can do real strong crank-ups, they're going to be doing them too. But it's only after I'm gone that I can get rid of the crap that's still plaguing everyone. So I got to get rid of that stuff, and then everyone will be left alone. There won't be any problem doing crank ups. When you remember, when you're in a body, you can't do crap compared to stuff that's near your strength that's out of a body. It can screw with you big time. So, and soon that's done, gone forever. Folks, love you. Soon it's going to be easier than it's ever been, any life in any body, for you to have fun, for you to understand what's going on. You're going to start understanding who you really are, the fact that you are spirit inside a body, and that you're having a life, and that it's not really who you are, so you won't freak out when you die. There is no hell to worry about going to. Nothing. Oh, and the only angels that are left anymore, the original angels that are left, there's some new angels from Lily and I, but that's different, and we're not going there. What I'm just saying is that out of the first original angels that were created, there's only 2 of them left. Archangel Michael is alive, very strong, and most of Lucifer, or the one they call Lucifer. So, things will change, you'll see. There's no prayer, there's no praise, there's nothing. The door's being opened up, and you got new shoes to put on and go out, run around, have fun. You always should have had that. And very soon, from that point forward, shortly after I'm out of the body, it'll always be like that. Lesson, I was trying to find the exact time. I've never looked at this. I had to go look at it, and that's why the lights just flickered. And because I saw it, I said, well, I think it's about 2 weeks. And they go, well, is it a little more, a little less? I said, no, I think it's 2 weeks. And then boom, the lights flashed like, go, yes, 2 weeks, keep going. 2 weeks after I'm gone, nothing to be bugging anyone anymore. The second it does, I'll be killing it. So anyway, do whatever you want with the information. You'll find out over time it's right. You'll learn about the ETs. You'll learn more about me through them. Drakh are the first race. The second life ever had. The first 100 million plus lives ever had in creation was the primary Lily and myself. And the second life we had, because of what was done to us the first life, I told Lily, I said, as soon as we get down there to the planet, when I make a body, just follow me. Just do the same thing. So she did, and we created the Drakh race. So we were, the first life we were eaten by these like velociraptors on steroids. Is a big, whatever you call it, swarm of them coming, over 100 of them, and they just tore us up, ripped us up. In the second life we went down, and as the original Drakh beings, we were ripping them up like they were Play-Doh, like they were newspaper. They'd bite us, and it's like, what's that? Anyway, folks, love you. And like I said, I just wanted to put that out and say goodbye. I've always done everything I can do, and I did everything I could. I did the best I could with everything I had. And your lives will become better. Love y'all, man. Take care and have a good one.